Hey guys, what's up? Toppe here. Deciding where to be in the map as an ADC can be quite difficult. In this video I'll discuss some of the discoveries I had recently on rotations, which successes and which failures. I just want to get it out there as soon as possible. Rotating mid one shot done with bot lane is far from always the best choice. I actually lost countless games for doing this, because sometimes going from winning bot lane, cracking down the tower and then rotating mid gets you nowhere. Other times it might get you somewhere though, so how do we decide if it's worth going mid lane? Well, often an important thing I take into consideration is drakes. When is a drake spawning? Anytime soon? If you're talking within 2 minutes, I would definitely look to rotate mid just to be there for the drake. But what about the instances where drake just got killed or has like 3 minutes plus on the timer? Well, in those cases, I look closely at the speed of wave clear the enemy team have on top lane and mid lane. Alright, so I'm just gonna jump in here. So as you can see, I'm in a new place, a new house. That's because I moved, and that's also why I haven't uploaded in a month, because I've been super busy. But I really do want to explain here. So this game, specifically in case some people are gonna think that it matters what elo it is, then it is 300 LP. Exactly, I think it was 306 when I was in this game. So let's look at why I rotate top, as you saw in the previous clip in this lane, or I'll explain to you why. So if you look at who mid lane is, then it's actually Malphite, right? And I just said I'll look at who has the best wave clear and then go to that lane. So there's a Malphite mid lane who has completely shit wave clear, and then there's an Aatrox top lane, right? But as you saw, I decided to go top lane instead of mid lane. And the reason for that is actually really simple. It's because in this specific game, I would value rather that my mid laner, Heimerdinger, stays mid lane because he's not that good on a side lane, and I can do perfectly fine against an Aatrox in top lane when I'm this fed. Like in this current moment, I'm 4-2-4, so I'm gonna back with Kraken here most likely. We can check. Yeah, I'm gonna back with Kraken here. So I can definitely go up and match an Aatrox. So for me, it doesn't really matter if I'm going mid or if I'm going top here. And then another thing you could argue about going top here is that you're pulling yourself further away from the map by going all the way up to the north. And therefore, you're less likely going to get played around by the enemy team. Or if you are, they're going to have to go all the way up here. So you're dragging a lot of pressure with you. But the complete main reason that I made this decision is that, one, Heimerdinger doesn't really like to be on side, compared to how I can completely obliterate a turret. So I think it's better that I'm on side, and I just let him stay in his comfortable spot in mid lane, where he doesn't really die because he can plant these turrets and he stays safe, right? So that's the main reason. The second reason that I decided to go top lane is because if you look at base, then guess where Shen is, right? So Shen just backed. And I am resetting right here. I'm pressing B. It doesn't show, but I'm about to. But I'm gonna be pressing B, right? So, as I'm also gonna mention in the video, one of the most important things, and one of the most most times you're gonna have success making someone else swap with you, is if you're gonna match their back. So for Heimer, who is sitting here getting plates and stuff, he actually has a decent back here. So you could argue in this case, but not in, he might just come back to lane and he's getting plates, right? Where Shin is in base. So no matter what, it'll be more practical for Shin to swap with me here than for Heimer to swap with me. And that's kind of the point I'm trying to make. Plus, as a Tristana, which is an insane turret killing machine, AD carry, it's just better for me to be in top lane because I can easily match Aatrox and I can easily get the top tower if we kill him or, apply enough pressure. So that's the reason to go top. And then if we want to also look at the objectives, then there's 3 minutes plus on Drake when I'm doing this. Even though Malphite might have worse wave clear, then there's just too many other factors that still tells me that I should be going top, which is what I do. So a mistake I'd done before is rotating as a fed Lucian into mid lane. Standing in front of Veigar, who just perma one-shot the wave, leaving me and him just trading waves, with me getting a very few camps here and there. And this really just led to me slowly losing the lead that I had built up in bot lane. So instead of doing this, there's two other options. If I go mid lane into a super clear mid laner like Veigar, who just perma one-shots the wave, then I'll have to convert my lead somewhere else than sieging the mid tower. This could be by shoving in mid waves and then rotating into the enemy jungle with my jungler, denying them their jungle camps and potentially picking off someone in the jungle. It could also be by roaming to either bot lane or top lane for a dive if my laner has pressure in the side lane matchup. These are some of the options you need to consider when going mid lane. It's not always about getting the juicy tower, even though it is nice to kill it because of how much it opens up the map. Something else that I have been doing quite a lot lately and honestly have had quite a good success with is just rotating top lane instead of mid. If enemy mid lane clear is too strong, going into a top laner who usually has a weaker wave clear can be quite effective. Because what I have noticed is it's a lot easier to siege plates and get that tower, so if you get the tower early in the bot lane, it's usually easier to rotate top and then get the plates there too. Plus usually, like I said earlier, I wouldn't go top if there are drakes spawning within the next 3 minutes. So I also don't have to worry about the enemy team taking Drake because I rotated top lane. Instead I go top trying to siege the plates and then potentially trying to secure the Herald as well. But actually in some instances it could actually be worth trading the Drake for like Herald and the top tower. So if we already have a Drake, then giving one isn't really that big of a deal, and therefore I would be more than happy to trade 5 plates in the top lane and a Herald for them taking the Drake. But of course you shouldn't do this in games where you're actively playing for the soul, if that's the win con. But one of the things that I have noticed from rotating top lane a lot more than what I used to do is that it's just a lot easier to snowball the lead that I generated in bot lane than it is in mid lane. And therefore it makes the whole game a lot easier to 1v9 when I am able to pick up, all the bot plates from the tower and then also go top lane and pick up all the plates as well. And therefore the game is just a lot easier than if I just stand mid lane and bounce waves with some kind of super clear. I wanted to share this knowledge with you guys because I see even in Masters that a lot of ADCs and especially in higher diamond will just autopilot rotate mid lane once they have finished laning phase in the bot lane, which just causes the lead they have generated to slowly fade away, and therefore actually they end up not winning the game because of this. I hope this video opened up your guys' view on the different rotations you have once the laning phase has ended. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, much love and stay safe.